Welcome to Nugg Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nugg Talk, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything going on in the NBA, and more specifically, everything going on with the Denver Nuggets. I'm your host, Loki, here again on a cold day with my co-host, Phil Doe. What's up, Phil?
It's really, really cold.
Yes, it is really cold. The Denver winter has arrived. It is freezing. But doesn't stop the Nuggets, doesn't stop us. We're gonna keep going, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. If in case you guys didn't know, we do this podcast outside. So
yeah, we do it outside. We're outside, and there's a nice fire next to us, and there's a bunch of wolves. No, we'll get into it. Not much news. Only thing is Luka Doncic is out for a couple weeks, which we hope he feels better, but it does help us in the standings because they are ahead of us. Right now, Phil has an update on that score because he saw what was going on.
Yes, I checked like 5 minutes ago, and the score was 66-62. But Mavericks, they were formerly up 20 though.
So.
It was actually 56-52. It is now 59-53 Mavericks. So it's become a close game, but Mavericks are still winning that one.
Yeah, so they're still up, but at least it's a closer game now. And if they lose, then we will move up to the third spot by the end of today. So that is good. And then the next thing we'll want to do is talk about obviously our week. This week we had a bunch of games we need to speak about. Obviously we played who did we play? Who was the first game of the week? I'm forgetting.
The Portland Trailblazers.
Okay, we played the Trailblazers, then OKC, then the Knicks.
Yeah.
We played one more team we have to talk about. Oh, we played the Sixers. We're going to have to talk about the Sixer game. I forgot about
that was this week, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. So we played the Sixers. We have to talk about that. And we'll just go ahead and talk about all of these things since there's not much news going on in the NBA this week. Overall, pretty, I would say, decent week, enlightening week. There were some good spots. There were some bad spots, but I would say overall it was a good week since we went 3-1. We'll talk about the first game against the Sixers, which we did lose. What was the score of that one?
97-92.
Okay. And then, we lost that one. It was a pretty close game throughout. I mean, both of these teams at the point of playing were struggling offensively, but they're very good defensive teams, so it makes sense why it was a low-scoring game. I think the best player in that one was it Will?
Yeah, it was Will. Will was pretty much it.
So he started off really well. I think he had like our first 11 points. And he finished with 20-ish something. 26. Yeah, so he was the best player there. Otherwise, most people did not play very well in that game, unfortunately. But at the same point, I would still say it was a good showing for us against a team that has not been beaten on home.
Yeah, it was a pretty competitive game, and also we really stayed in it despite the fact that Jamal Murray left the game after only playing for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he got hurt because Ben Simmons just like hip checked him and he died. I don't know what happened. He
just like collapsed after that.
Nothing serious came from it. There was it's the weirdest calling injury of all time.
Something thrombosis or something.
Yeah, something thrombosis fractured or some shit like that. I don't even know what it was called, but it was nothing serious. They tried to add padding to it between the halves. He couldn't go through and play throughout it. But overall, I mean, another good defensive performance, even though it is another team that's struggling offensively. But we just couldn't really make a shot even in that game as well, which has been a constant issue. Another issue with pace as well in that game. I don't know. Overall, I would say pretty poor performance in that. I don't think Jokic played really well in that game either.
He played okay, but Embiid outplayed him in this one. Jokic almost got a triple-double. He got 15, 7, and 11. But, yeah, it wasn't like anything to, like, write home about, you know?
Yeah, I mean, most of it was just, if you watch the game on national TV, which you would have to most likely, it was just the only thing that was of interest or annoying for Nuggets fans was just the halftime show when Charles Barkley and Shaq would shit on Jokic and Embiid, which I agree with their opinion, but I don't think you fully do.
I just it's hard to, it's just kind of, I mean, I agree with it. Everything they said I've been saying about Jokic, but at the same time, it's the mainstream media. Even if Jokic was playing well in that game, they wouldn't have really noticed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the most part with it was just they were saying like these guys have to kind of body people. They got to be the guy. They got to want to show up for every game, kind of like Giannis does, because Giannis does kind of use his skills to his advantage, and he shows up for every game, and he tries to be the best player on the floor every night. Whereas you can't really say that about Jokic and Embiid sometimes, but at least with the other guys, you can. So at least with that, he does show up every time in there. But again, Jokic shows up later in the week, so maybe he took some of that to heart. Embiid shows up later next game too against the Celtics. He played really well in that game, so I think their criticism was good, and it helped for that team.
Yeah, it looks like they're both playing significantly better since they said that. So
that helps. But then we'll get into the next game. Overall for that game, I would just say we expected to lose. It was a hard game, so we'll take it. It put us on a 3-game losing streak, which wasn't fun, but at least we had home games to rebound from, and a big game against former Nugget Carmelo Anthony, which we'll get into a topic about that later after we talk about the game. But Carmelo was back in town with Damian and CJ. We played them. I was a little bit worried going into this, but we ended up winning the game. So what was the score for this one?
114-99.
Yeah, so we won that we won this game 114-99. Very good game, I would say, from us overall. It kind of started off a little rough. Carmelo was having a pretty good game, which was kind of annoying. But towards the end, we started to kind of figure it out, especially in the third quarter. I think my MVP of this one was Jeremy. I think Jeremy played really well in this one.
Jeremy was pretty lights out from 3 in this game. Yeah.
Was he 5 for 5?
5 for 6.
5 for 6, yeah. He only missed one towards the end. He really helped us with his 3-point shooting, really helped extend the floor. He's been playing really well as of late, so has Monte. What were the other starters doing pretty well?
Jokic dropped 20, 11, and 6. He shot well. He shot pretty well from 3, too.
That 20 is inflated because he had a 1-foot 3.
Yeah, but that was sick.
It was sick, but it's technically he had 17.
It was a garbage time 3, but he made it. It was cool. Everyone else was pretty well rounded. Not a great shooting night from Jamal, and Millsap didn't play very well, but also Jeremy Grant was, and Jeremy Grant was like basically took over that role because he was playing so well. So
yeah, and Millsap got kind of hurt with I think either a hamstring or quad injury. I forgot what it
quad.
Is. So he has a quad soreness, so that
and he's missed the last 2 games because
he has missed the last 2 games because of that. So that was an issue. Whiteside fucked us up as is tradition. The center again on the other team fucked us up because
Whiteside was making some crazy shots too.
He did make his first 3 of the season, which was annoying. But yeah, I mean, centers are. I think we just have to accept at this point, no matter how good our defense is, for the most part, the center on the other team is usually going to have a good game, which is annoying, but it is just what happens when you have the defensive capabilities of Jokic. He can't, always be there to help on the center on pick and roll situations, just because of his lack of athleticism, which is unfortunate. But overall, again, pretty good game. Gary again locked down Damian, which I love seeing. Gary's really good on Damian.
Yeah, he kind of owns Damian now, which is pretty awesome. I love it.
So that's a good thing to see. Carmelo kind of popped off in that game. And speaking of Carmelo, he was a former Nugget. Played here for about 9 seasons. Made, I think, 3 or 4 All-Stars here. My childhood growing up, basically being a Nuggets fan. And they came up after the game. They talked about if his jersey should get retired here. He said it should be retired here. He talked about that. What are your thoughts on retiring his jersey as a Nugget?
I think I'll be nice and I'll say no, but we have to wait and see. The way things are going, if things keep trending in the way that I think all of Nuggets Nation hope it does, no, because that means Jokic gets his jersey retired. I think Jokic is trending in that direction, and Melo's not gonna, at least at the very least, Melo's not gonna get his jersey retired until Jokic retires, which is in 10 years, maybe more. Who knows? So Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I think Melo is one of the best Nuggets ever, but I don't think he's like what did he do for us? He got us to one Western Conference Finals, and we got
Yes. But he did change the culture here because we were a very losing franchise in the late 90s, and then all of 2000s we were a winning franchise. Again, only regular season wins, but it was wins. We did have a lot of the most win seasons that we ever had. We did make our Western Conference Finals for the first time in a very long time.
I think he deserves recognition for the numbers he put up, etc. But to say that he deserves his jersey retired, I think is a little hasty.
I think yes, just because he is, as of right now, one of our top 5 players in our organization. Behind, I would say, Alex English and David Thompson. I think those guys are still ahead of Melo. But I think he meant more to the city than Dikembe did, just because Dikembe had such a short tenure here. And Dan Issel, even though he was so good, he didn't have like statistically the same amount of impact that Carmelo did. Granted, now there's the issue of Jokic is also the number 15, and that's an issue, so you have to figure out how that situation would go. I do not like Melo because I still have sour feelings about how he left and how he went about it. But I do think he still deserves it retired. I think how it will go is whenever he does retire, I think they're eligible to retire the jersey like a year after. They'll probably ask Jokic if he's okay with changing his number so they can retire their jersey for Melo. And I think, assuming Jokic, I think he would say yes. And I think Jokic is just going to have a number change at some point. That's how I think it's going to go down. Just because I do think Carmelo's name deserves to be up there in the rafters with retired. But there's some weird consideration going on there. But he did mean a lot to the franchise. He did change it a lot, and he changed us to a winning franchise. Granted, he could never get the chip, and he was kind of overrated on defense, and he had a lot of issues with George Karl. There's a lot of bad stuff to his tenure here too, but overall, I think with what he brought, it just makes sense to retire it at some point. So that's my honest opinion on it. I think it will happen, but it kind of just depends on what Jokic decides.
I mean, if they do want to go that route and they do try and retire it while Jokic is still a Nugget, then I think you'll be accurate, but I don't think that they will. I think that they're going to probably wait a while because I feel like it's pretty rare that someone gets their jersey retired that quickly.
They do it nowadays. Chris Bosh got retired like a little bit ago. I think all the Spurs have got their jerseys retired already.
Yeah, but they've all...
I know they've done more, but...
way more than Melo did.
I know they've done more, but still, Melo, I think, will get it retired, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it'll go that way.
It's like if the Nuggets win a championship because of Jokic, Melo doesn't deserve to have his jersey retired.
Well, yes, if we do that, but that's in the time of it when it gets retired. So we will see how it happens, and when Melo retires, and who knows when Melo's going to retire. So it looks like he's added at least another year or so to his career. So he's going to at least play till he's 36 or 37, and then I think finally call it quits. But yeah, so that's the conversation on Melo. But overall, we would say at least we had a good game against the Trailblazers. That's a game we should have won. That team's struggling. We wanted to make sure we did well, and we did. So I'm excited about that. And then the next game we played was against OKC, which is a game we actually got to go to, which was nice.
It was quite fun.
Good game overall. We played Chris Paul. It was the first time I think I saw us play actual Nuggets basketball, but we'll get into it. At least Nuggets basketball in a while. What was the score for this one?
110 to 102.
So 110 to 102, even though the score was kind of close towards the end. We were pretty dominant, I would say, for most of this game. I
don't think we trailed at all in this game.
Yeah, there were some stretches where we kind of, again, had issues, but we're going to talk about. MVP for this game, Jokic. He finally looked like Jokic, that at least for me, so I'm going to give it to him. He had, 20 points in the triple-double? Almost 30 points in the triple-double?
Yeah, 28, 14, and 12. So that's a pretty great triple-double.
Yeah, so he's my MVP. Is he also, I'm assuming, yours?
Yeah, definitely.
What were your thoughts on this game since we were there?
I think we played really well, and I think the score looks much closer than it actually was. I'll give credit to the Thunder a little bit. They actually played pretty well in this game. That's why they did only lose by 8, but I think there was no way we were going to lose this game. Yeah, I was pretty happy with what I saw. Our bench didn't play very well, but we didn't really need them to when Jokic was scoring like he was scoring in that game. So
He was scoring well. He was passing well. I would say this is the first game, especially at the start. We went off to a huge run. I think we were up 8 at the very beginning of the game really quickly, like the first minute or so. And that was just because we were playing fast. This was the first game where our pace was good, and it wasn't like a rush pace where we were just playing fast to play fast. It was with a purpose. People were cutting. People were moving the ball well. It looked like old Nuggets basketball. It was fun to watch. People were doing well. But then again, and I'm going to say it again, and we're going to get into another probably a little rant about it. Mason Plumlee comes into the game and ruins all the mojo. I don't think Mason Plumlee needs to be on this team anymore. I think if there is a trade piece on this team, there's 2. It's Mason, and then sadly Malik, because Malik is out of the rotation. He's not in the rotation. People are calling about Malik. I think it's time for Malik to go because we want to give MPJ more minutes. Rightfully so, which we will talk about probably in the next game since he didn't play this much in this game after he got posterized.
yeah, he got postered by Steven Adams and he didn't play ever again.
We joked about it that he wasn't going to play and they were going to put Iwancho in right after that because they called timeout, and it actually happened.
Except it wasn't Wancho. It was. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry,
it was
Wancho. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong box score.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because we joked about it and then it actually happened. It was the first time we got to see MPJ live and we saw him for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. And like something else of note is this is the game where Torrey Craig. Well, I guess he cracked it in the Portland game, but he played a lot of minutes in this game.
Yeah, and he's starting to get back into rotation too. So that's why I'm saying like I think Malik's definitely on the trading block, just because we don't want to pay him the money he wants. We're probably going to lose him anyways. We want to give MPJ more minutes, so we're going to trade him. I'm saying if we do trade him, try to trade Plumlee's terrible contract and get rid of him because he is, again, according to everyone else that we listen to, a very good backup center in the league. And he could be a starter. I do think he could be a starter on some teams. So I don't know why there's not more interest in Mason Plumlee. I want him gone. I think most people do. And because I think he just slows down the offense. Anytime he comes in, I swear to God, we lose a lead. It just gets worse. There's less scoring. It's 4v5 on offense.
Yeah, like he's such an offensive liability. Like I don't care if he can pass or play good defense. He's so bad on offense. It's just hurts the team. And I think that's granted, he got hurt pretty badly, but like that's why the Thunder were so easy to guard when Andre Roberson was on the team because they didn't have to worry about him on the offense.
Yeah, and the thing is, he played well in the next game that we're going to talk about, but he only plays well if he's under the basket or getting alley-oops. Like he has to be literally right under the basket so he can reverse it or get alley-oops. So I just think it's time for Malik and Mason to look into trade packages for that. Obviously, it's going to be hard because Mason's contract's very expensive, so it's going to be hard to find a package, but we'll look into it once we get closer to trade deadline season. At least I'll try to find some mock-up ones. But the trade deadline is now officially available. You can trade for anybody now, which is good. Doesn't matter if they sign a contract this summer or not. So I do assume some early trades to happen here or there for teams who are struggling, aka Portland probably. And also it was reported today that MPJ is untouchable. So
which he should be. I've seen a lot of people rumblings of why isn't he untouchable? He never plays. Blah 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 blah. Come on.
I mean, I'm going to say this. No one's actually untouchable unless you're like LeBron, Kawhi, or Giannis.
I mean, yeah.
But
if I could trade for Anthony Davis, I would trade MPJ
exactly.
in a heartbeat.
If there's the value for MPJ, we would trade him. But for the certain amount of players, and this is mainly for Kevin Love, we're not going to trade him. That's why the report came out. We're not going to trade MPJ for Kevin Love's contract because it's insane. It's a very expensive contract for the player.
It's not like he's putting up in crazy numbers either.
And we have Plumlee. I mean, not Plumlee. God, every time Millsap is doing good, and Jeremy who's playing well. And Jeremy looks like he's going to be the power forward for a long time to come. So I think that's why that report came out today. But overall, this game, like you said, we played very well. Gary's been playing better as of late too. Gary made some threes in this game. Gary's made a 3 in his last 11 games, which is good to see. Mm-hmm. So he's starting to get his shot back. I think Jamal played well. He had that nice off the backboard pass to himself, which was pretty sick.
Yeah, he played well. He just didn't play amazingly. I think he's hobbled still.
Yeah, he probably still a little bit injured. And also, just a little tidbit of this game. We were at the game. I don't know if it was shown on TV or not, or however you were watching. There was one point where he scored a bucket, and then he got the ball, and he passed it to the ref. And we already had a delay of game, and they called a delay of game on him and gave him a technical. By the rule standards, yes, that's a technical, but he literally passed the ball to the fucking ref's chest.
The ball literally dropped into his hand, and then he tossed it to the ref, and then he got a delay of game technical, and that's just horseshit.
Like, you're not supposed to touch it after you score, but usually that was implemented so, like, you don't touch it and move it away from a player, or, like, he disrupted on purpose. He literally gave it to the ref. Usually they don't call a delay of game when you give it to the ref. So that was horseshit. I was really pissed off when that happened.
Yeah, it was dumb.
But Jeremy, again, also played good in this game for starting. So he played pretty good. What was his stat line for this one?
It was...
I feel like he had, like, double digits.
He had 13, 4 of 8 shooting. He played pretty well.
And he's really good defensively in this one. Granted, again, in this, we did not see MPJ play a lot. But Juancho played pretty good minutes when he came in, so... Yeah. Bench has been playing better. I think Monte's probably been, well, now that Jeremy's not on the bench for right now, I think Monte's been our other best bench player for last couple of games as well. Because Monte played good in that game, didn't he?
He played okay. He didn't take many shots, but yeah, 7 points, 3 of 3 shooting. Like, he's fine.
Yeah, he's just being efficient.
He was solid, so that's kind of what you expect from your backup point guard.
Yeah, we always want him to be solid, so he's been doing pretty good. Overall, I would say definitely a pretty good game. Wasn't worried about it. We do still have those stints where we play with no movement and things like this, but I do think we've been testing out the lineups more as of late, which you've noticed as well, I think. That we're doing more like starters in with bench players and stuff like this. And again, Jokic is starting to play better. That was probably Jokic's best game of the year for the most part, other than maybe the Boston game. But yeah, so that was pretty good. And then we had a back-to-back playing the Knicks. The lowly Knicks, even though, we played pretty well in this game for a long time, and then we just fucking blew it.
Yeah, we really choked this game, and this time I agree with you. Yeah, Plumlee played great, 14 points, but he was a big reason why they came back, in my opinion. He just looks lost out there, and he's Mr. Butterfingers.
I think that Plumlee, I'll give him credit for 2 things. He did good scoring at the beginning, and then at the end he at least kind of stopped Julius Randle for a little bit, so I'll give him credit for a little bit of that. But at the same time, I don't think he should have been playing that minutes, and I don't think he would have if Jeremy didn't get some apparent injury in the fourth quarter. I think Jeremy got hit in the balls.
Yeah, I think Jeremy got hurt, also hurt us a lot, because I think another reason why they came back is because we had to play a Jokic Plumlee lineup, and I don't think that works.
It doesn't, but we had nothing else to do really at that point, which was kind of frustrating. But again, I would say MVP for this. I'll give it to Jokic because he came up clutch in that fourth quarter. He had 11 points, so I'll give it to him.
He took over the game, and you could tell he was trying to take over the game. So It was pretty good to see.
I think he was getting frustrated with how aggressive they were being with him. And when Jokic gets upset, he usually plays well. I would say that's the case for most players. When they get upset, they usually play well.
Most players who are at least have that kind of
like competitive edge.
Yeah.
So like he played well. Another shout out I want to give though, huge shout out to the boy MPJ. Played some meaningful minutes for once in his early career, and I think he did amazing in those minutes.
Super well in this game. He only played 10 minutes, and he scored 9 points.
And he had like 4 rebounds.
He had 8 rebounds.
8 rebounds, damn. And he had a good pass to Jeremy, I think.
He's playing well. Looks like some stuff's starting to come together. Hopefully we can get him some minutes. Yeah, I think he's shown me enough to where I think like he could definitely end up being like one of our best players, which is saying something on a team that as good as we are. Yes. So,
and I think that game helped show that untouchable tagline to come out. But also the thing I saw from it that I really liked is he played really well in the game. He looked composed. His shot wasn't fully there, and he still has issues about figuring out when to take a shot and not to take a shot. A lot of the times when you watch the game, he'll pull up and he'll be like, oh, shit, and he'll pass out of it or he'll get blocked, which is rookie stuff. He's learning, the game's slowing down for him. But he talked about this in the post-game interview. He said, even though my shot's not there, I'm learning I have to play through other ways that I usually didn't do when I was in like AAU or the 3 games of college he played, where he was like, I have to, play hustle stats, do the things that other guys aren't willing to do, rebound, get putbacks, defend, things like this. So he's starting to learn just to always contribute in any way possible, and I think that's really good. And everyone says he's really mature for his age.
And that's how you get a rotation spot. Yeah, that's another thing is like, I think it's another reason why he's so untouchable is like, I think he's 21, 22.
He's less than that. He's probably like 20.
Michael Porter Jr. 1 second. He's 21 years old.
He's 21. Okay.
He's 21 years old, and Malone, Jokic, Gary, Millsap, Grant, Jamal, they all just praise his maturity and his work ethic. So he's working. If he can stay healthy, I don't think there's any reason to think that he's not going to be a really, really good player.
Yeah, so I think that helps out too. And it comes a lot from his dad. His dad has like a religious background. His dad grew up, raised him the right way in Missouri. He's a very small town kid. He kind of fits our culture. So that's why I think it makes sense that he fits so well here. My thing that I'm most impressed with him is that I think sometimes on the bench you can see that he's like us. He doesn't want to wait for him to be as good as we all think he should be, and he probably thinks he should be. I think when I was at the OKC game and, Malone took him out, I could see, while I was watching him on the bench, sometimes he kind of had his head down, but he wasn't really, cheering on teammates and stuff like that. He was just kind of in his own head, but he doesn't say it out loud. He doesn't look like he verbalizes it. He still supports his teammates. He's still being there. I think he wants the process, obviously, to be quicker, but he's mature about it.
Exactly. I think he's understandably frustrated, but he's handling it as well as any player in the league could, much less someone who's 21 years old.
Yeah, and I think that's great. So I really liked MPJ in that game. He did great. That was good to see. Again, Gary, good game. Another shout out to Gary. Gary played really well in this game. Had a lot of 3-pointers. Kind of got his shot back. Got his touch back around the rim.
Yeah, he's starting to become that amazing finisher.
Starting to be Gary again. He's starting to provide not only on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end. So that's good. Jamal, not that great of a performance, but he's kind of hurt. He's hobbled right now, so I think he'll figure it out as we go. And then Jeremy, again, also good game for when he played until he got apparently hurt. I don't think it was anything serious. I really think he just got kicked in the balls.
Yeah, I mean, he still played 26 minutes. Yeah, that's okay. I'm still happy with how he played.
And then other bench players that I think played well in that game was... Any other bench player play well in that game? I feel like Monte probably played decent.
Monte played pretty bad today.
Did he?
He 1 of 6 shooting. Torrey Craig played okay. He probably played really good defense as always. 2 of 3 shooting. He made a 3, and I asked him to make 1 3 and not take 6. That's my.
Did he take 6?
No, he took 2. That's
there
why I'm happy with it. I'm happy with if Torrey Craig shoots 2 of 3 and scores 5 points every game. Sure, that's fine with me. But on games where he shoots 0 of 2 or 0 of 2 even, I'm fine with. But I just want Torrey to play in his role, and he did
play
that.
His role.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gets a little ahead of himself.
He got ahead of himself, and I think that's why he got out of the rotation for a while. But he's a great defender, and I think he will always have that. That's not supposed to be an insult. Like I'm saying, he'll always have that.
He's never going back to the G League.
He's never going back to the G League. He deserves to be in the NBA, and he deserves to get minutes. I'll say situationally.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's situational.
If we can get a trade done and get rid of Malik, and I don't want to say get rid of I love you Malik, but
yeah, I don't want to get rid of Malik. It looks like we're heading towards that way.
Yeah, if we trade Malik and trade Plumlee, I think he will be in the rotation. So yeah.
I mean, it just looks like we love Malik. I love Malik. I think Malik's a great player wherever he goes. If he does get traded, I think he's going to be a phenomenal player over there. It's just. We think MPJ is going to be better. We think MPJ is going to be better, and he has the most trade value. So
I think even though Juancho's actually been playing as of late, I don't think anyone prefers to have Juancho over Malik.
I mean, if we could trade Juancho too, I think we would, but I don't think, like you said, anyone wants Juancho as well with Malik. And maybe they do. I don't know.
And and then that also opens up, depending on how this offseason shakes out as far as Will Barton and Jeremy Grant goes, it opens up the possibility of extending Juancho. And we probably will be able to keep him pretty cheap.
Yeah,
so
we could probably. It depends. I mean, we'll see how it goes with Juancho in that situation. But, I mean, I think the main thing, though, to take away also from this next game is when we were playing well, not the third quarter, worst third quarter we played in a very long time, but when we were playing well, again, pace was good. We were playing well. We were playing Nuggets basketball. We were passing it. We were playing fluidly. We were doing all the right things. That third quarter just came down to we weren't making any shots. Offense slowed down again, which is always an issue for us. Hopefully we start figuring that out and we play a consistently good offensive game, or at least for the most part, a consistently good offensive game. I don't think we've done that yet. And also in that third quarter, we just have to give credit to Marcus Morris. That guy went off.
Yeah, he really went off. I think that was most of it. Like, obviously, we didn't play amazingly, but yeah.
He went off. Like, we'll give him credit. He went off. I think it's very unfortunate that he's on that team, but then again, we talked about it. It's his own damn fault because he could have been on the Spurs, because he was on the Spurs tentatively during the free agent process, and then he was like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to the Knicks.
Yeah, and then the Spurs got Trey Lyles to replace him.
So that was his own fault that he's there. I do kind of feel bad for him. I think he's going to get traded at some point for a contending team. They're going to trade for him. It'd be funny if it was like the Spurs.
Spurs aren't a contending team.
I know, but it'd just be funny if they traded for him and they traded Trey Lyles or something. But
speaking of the Spurs, they're beating the Rockets right now.
Well, that's good. That helps us out. Any team that's near us needs to lose, unless it's the LA's, because they just don't lose, which is annoying. Unless Kawhi's out, then they'll lose. Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say pretty solid effort this week. We went 3 for 1. We protected home court. We lost the only game we expected to lose. So overall, I'd say A- for the week.
Yeah, I'll say that. As long as if Jokic keeps playing like he's playing, then we have, we have a real shot to beat, I'd say, most teams, and we even probably, frankly, would have a shot to beat teams like the Lakers, but it would be tough still because we need
Jokic to play the way he plays, and we need to hit threes. And we've been hitting threes more consistently as of late, which is nice as well. I think for the most part, most of the teams starting to shoot better from three, even Jokic and Gary. The only person who really isn't is Jamal Murray, but he'll figure it out. I think he'll figure it out.
I think so too. I feel like Jamal's too good at that to not figure it out, but it would be nice for him to figure it out soon.
Yeah, so hopefully he figures it out soon. It's kind of unfortunate we haven't had a time where all three of them have been kind of popping off from three. Not that any of them are popping off, but I think they're all starting to find their shot shortly. But now we'll talk about our upcoming schedule for this week. It's kind of weird. I think we play the Magic on Wednesday, then we play the Timberwolves on Friday, and then the Lakers on Sunday.
Yes.
So that is our schedule. Magic and Timberwolves are at home. Lakers are away. We'll start off with the Magic game. My key matchup for that one would probably be, I'll go Isaac, and if Plumlee plays, Plumlee.
Plumlee? Or you mean Millsap?
I mean Millsap. God,
you really do that.
I do that all the time. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it's like a brain fart. It's like the Mandela effect.
I'm gonna say Jokic versus Vucevic. I think that's just
Nicola's.
Yeah, the Nikola matchup. That's fun. They really like each other, so yeah.
I expect us to win this one though.
Oh, so. Me too. I don't think we have any business losing this game, especially at home.
Yeah, it's at home. That team's good, but they're not great. We should definitely beat this team.
Yeah.
I would say win by like 10. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, they have a losing record. They're just in the East, so they're in the playoffs. Granted, so the West is like that too. But still.
The West only has like two teams like that. Oh, I guess the East probably only has like
East
two teams.
The East only has one.
Is it just the Magic?
Magic are the 8th seed at 12 and 14, and then the West, Sacramento and OKC are both in the playoff spots with losing records both at 12 and 14.
Wow, strange. All right, well, that was interesting news for me. Next game, Timberwolves. God, I hate Karl Anthony Towns. I will say it. I don't even care. I just don't like him.
I hate Karl Anthony Towns.
The guy's frustrating to watch.
I don't think anyone listening to this actually likes Karl Anthony Towns. He's really good at basketball. Yeah, don't get that mistaken with we just don't like him.
We just don't like him. As a Nuggets fan, we just don't like him. You gotta usually keep your personal biases to yourself, but it's hard with this guy.
Why?
Because Phil, we're being professional. Just because we record outside doesn't mean we're not professional. We don't actually record outside. Anyways,
lying. Yes, we do.
Fuck. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Timberwolves versus Nuggets.
Timberwolves Nuggets. Okay, Friday, home game. It's going to be a tough one because I feel like any of our division matchups usually end up being tough ones, but I still think we should win this.
The Timberwolves have lost 7 games in a row. We better win this game.
We should win this, but I will say again, usually, or for some reason, when we play division opponents, it's always going to come down probably to the last quarter. I think we're going to win this. Obvious key matchup. It's Towns and Jokic. Who I think I want Jokic to outplay Towns in this. This is the game I really want Jokic to play. Okay, this is one of the 2 games this week. I really want Jokic to play like Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope he outplays Towns. He usually does for the most part. Since that, fateful game in 2018, that last game of the season where we lost in the playoffs in overtime.
Yeah,
he usually outplays him ever since that. And we played really good since that game. So I think we should win. I'll say we win by like 5.
I say we win by 15.
I hope so, but I'm expecting we're gonna Nuggets it up. And then the last game of the season, of the week, not the season, of the week is the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles against LeBron and Anthony Davis. Yeah, you can go ahead.
I think this is a tough game. Like I said earlier, if Jokic plays like Jokic, we have a chance to win any game against anybody. Assuming that happens, this isn't still not going to be an easy game, especially in LA. I like how we played against them the first time. If we made some shots, maybe we would have pulled that one out. But same goes here. If we can shoot really well from 3, we have a chance to win. That being said, I don't think we're going to win this game. They're just too good. They're the class of the NBA. My only thing would be, with that being said, there is some encouragement because...
What do you have? You have like a hot fact, hot tip?
Well, okay, maybe not. I was going to say because they play the Bucks right before that, but it's
they don't. They play on Thursday, don't
it's
they?
a 3-day buffer, 4-day buffer. So yeah, this is going to be a tough one. If we win this game, I don't care how anybody plays or what the score is. It's our best win of the season.
Yes. 100%. If we win that, that's the best game of the season. So,
but yeah, we'll see. Another chance to really show that we're one of the powers of the West. So
I hope we do. I think it will be closer, at least for the most part. It really comes down to, and the key matchup for this isn't even, it's a person against our defense. It's can we stop Anthony Davis, 2 people, and Dwight Howard from getting alley-oops against us, because that's been our biggest issue, is when people do pick and roll alley-oops off of Jokic and Jamal. Can we stop it? If we do, into like a little bit, I think we have a chance to win this. And again, if Jokic plays well and we make shots, obviously, and all that stuff that has to go your way, I think it would help. I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna take the hot take. We're gonna win this game. We're gonna do it.
God, I hope so.
We're gonna win it by 3 points.
How is this? This game it's technically nationally televised. It's on NBA TV, but how is this game not nationally televised?
It is nationally televised. It's on
NBA TV is fake nationally.
It's still national TV.
It's fake.
I mean, it's okay. Fake news guy, whatever. It's still national TV.
TNT, ESPN is what I consider national
that's
TV.
Poor people national TV. Just kidding, because that's my national TV. But
exactly.
But anyways, I mean, it's on national TV. Stop complaining.
I'm complaining.
But yeah, so I'll say we'll go 3-0 this week, but I'm totally okay if we go 2-1. I expect to go 2-1, but I would like to go 3-0, and I'm going to say we're going to go 3-0. We're going 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. I think it's possible to go 3-0. But I think what both of us are getting at is we better win the first 2.
We got to win the home games. We got to protect home court. So we got to make sure we stick with that plan at least. And I expect us to do that because those teams, like you said, have been struggling or are not really that good. But yeah, so hopefully we do well this week. So that's everything for us. Phil did bring up, since he brought it up, the games on Thursday. There's a very good doubleheader on Thursday. So if you're an NBA fan, even if you're a Nugget fan and you don't like these teams, I would say check it out.
I don't like most of these teams.
It's fine. I still would say check it out. The Lakers play the Bucks and the Rockets play the Clippers.
Bucks are the only team I like, and I'm very excited for Thursday.
It's a very good day for NBA fans. It's a great doubleheader. You get to see the 2 best teams in the league record-wise go at each other, and then you get to see Kawhi Leonard shut down James Harden Harden, and I think that would be fun.
You can make Thursday a great little evening. Watch both those games and then go see Star Wars.
Yes, and then go see Star Wars. And don't spoil it for anyone. That's not nice.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's just not nice. Don't do that.
Just
and if you don't like Star Wars movies, it's fine. All right. If you don't like The Last Jedi,
everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. The third one's the best one.
Yes, it is.
At least for watching. It's not actually the best one.
It's not that good, but it's fun. So.
Anyways, we'll get off the tangent. Yeah, so that's it for this week. I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. We'll get back to you guys next week after the games. Please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts on this week and next week's games, and tell a friend, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Go Nuggets.